Hey guys, time for another Ultimate roster revealing, as well as seeing who on the Ultimate roster I have for the WWE. Let's get started. So first off, of course, Eddie Guerrero. Just standard, nothing done with him. I may end up getting another Eddie Guerrero torso and then putting on the more No Mercy 05 lower portion. And then just keeping the head as it is, basically, because I don't like the drop down hips. But there's Eddie. I'm just going to start with the guys who are already factory made. Batista is the only Batista Ultimate we have so far. If they release more of a modern tattooed out Batista, so be it. They also decided to go with a more world champion look. This is more of his right before getting to the world title picture. This is, I think, what he wore when he signed the contract, or it's based on that time when he signed the contract against Triple H. I'd like to see more of his maybe WrestleMania attires going forward when he's world champion or been world champion. Not too many guys in the WWE era that haven't been obviously built from the Ruthless Aggression era. John Cena. So I think it's Ultimate 10. Nothing really fancy there. And then, of course, WrestleMania 22 attire, Rey Mysterio. We do have I think a 2000 June debut, Rey Mysterio in 2002. That officially people saw pictures. Some people actually started pre-ordering. I'm okay with this one. I don't need that one necessarily. The WCW one would have been sick. Just putting that out there. But it was not to be. Okay, so now that would be it for the WWE roster if I didn't have an obsession with building Ultimate figures. So let's start with this one. Ultimate Zack Ryder. Yeah, I know he prefers Matt Cardona nowadays, but in this Fed he's just Ultimate Zack Ryder. And of course I used the lower half, the arms, and I used a Scott Hall torso, give him chest hair. It works. Looks good. Did I buy any? Oh yeah, I did buy this one. I ended up buying this one from somebody on Macari. Originally I was not going to get this. This guy was going to go to AEW soon. In fact, I still have him pre-ordered to show up to AEW, but I can't really pass up a Cruiserweight Ultimate, especially if I'm building a Cruiserweight division. So, Buddy Murphy looks good, looks fine, looks great. He's bulkier. Maybe I could retool him and put the Austin torso on there, make him a little bulkier than all the other Cruiserweight bodies. So, then I started thinking to myself, how can I build more Cruiserweights? How can I build more Cruiserweights? This one took a little bit of work because it took a lot of parts. Again, no paint was applied to these. So I decided to get a Austin torso because I didn't know about using nail polish remover yet. I didn't dare try that. And originally it was going to have 2 black sleeves, and then for whatever reason the second black sleeve, the hand opener kind of made the hand spin a little bit, so I went back to just one. I got the Chase version of Hurricane, switched it. Then I even got the original or the non-Chase version to switch out the boots to make it match more. So it's basically a makeshift Hurricane. Of course, this isn't his happy-go-lucky. This is not his heel run. It's more of his almost Dark Knight Vengeance late ECW look. And it works great for the Cruiserweight division I've built. This one here I didn't build myself. I did mention that they should make this guy, and then I think Steve did respond to me with, well, when he's under contract again, we might do that, which I haven't seen a new Goldberg since. So when I saw this one, I had to get it. It was not very expensive. I think it was $60. Obviously, he doesn't have his skull face under the arm tat and whatnot. This is more of his before that. I think 2003 period. Obviously, the head sculpt is definitely younger, not Oldberg. So we got Goldberg. Then this one I found on eBay as well, and I originally I just bought him into an elite, or I bought him and he was in elite, but it was like they used the boots from the basic and the decals were kind of smudged. So I bought it. Originally it was a Cody Rhodes. It was just a generic Cody Rhodes, because if you didn't, get the crowd or the Mattel Creation, time lane or pre-order bonus, whatever it is, then you didn't get him when he came out. And then of course people weren't happy with the coloring scheme and that kind of thing. So someone built the almost like handsome Cody Rhodes. So what I did is I took and bought that, and then I basically just put a Tony Nese head on, changed the kick pads using the AJ Styles WCW looking Legend one, and no decals, but I do remember he wrestled in the tournament in just a black attire. He didn't have the money yet because he wasn't signed technically, I guess. So he just had a black standard attire. So it does work for Nese. He's got his 8-pack almost. It is what it is. Then I started getting more creative. Like I said, I try to build at least 4 or 5, a day if I can, if I have the parts show up on time. Obviously, this one people have been building. I went a little step further and actually added in kick pads instead to kind of give him his like almost TNA look as well. So not going to spend too much time, but just Ultimate Scott Steiner, and you can see his kick pads, not his boots. I might go back in there in the future and actually shorten up. I'm trying to figure out how to, I'm looking for someone in red. Not doing it as of right now, but I'm going to look at, people who have red, maybe even black, but I'm probably going to go to my red and try to find like a shorter calf pad that I can attach here and shorten him down a little bit. But it does work for Steiner. If the biker shorts gets shown one day, great. I will gladly go and remake another one. Going on, let's keep with the other one here. So I had this one commissioned to be made. I think they used a gold. Well, I don't know what they used because I didn't build it. But let me get the belt off him. He is the United States champion of the WWE at the time, and it's JBL. That's why he's not in the Raw's War set, because he is his own man over winning middleweight titles. Take the Ruthless Aggression best of lower torso. I think it's an Austin torso. Like I said, he does a good job putting these guys together. So I still do buy from him. In fact, I'm thinking about buying an LA Knight. I saw he posted. It wouldn't have any of the look of it, but at the same time, it'd be a great placeholder until that Elite 108 comes out. I'd like to give the guy business. I'd like to give him, he does good work. I'd like to, help him out. Then I started building. All these other guys are built by me. Well, somewhat. Jericho was built by somebody that used the AEW arms, and it just did not look good. I'm sorry, it doesn't look good. So I switched out the head and the arms to give him more of his goat. Now, I was planning to originally make a Jericho from WrestleMania 19. I have the figure, but it is an older figure. When it arrived, it was kind of wobbly. Wasn't the greatest. It's great for display. It's not great for any type of play. So I shelved that one. If I find another one, I will do it. This one's head was really wobbly, so I ended up having to glue the head down to keep it from like just doing all this stuff all the time. And they use an AJ torso. When I do touch this one up, and not this one, but when I do make another one, I'm probably gonna use the Austin torso. It's a little bit bigger. Jericho was a little bit more bulkier than your average cruiserweight, and yeah, he is the first ever WWE World Heavyweight Champion of that brand. Again, it was him and JBL and Goldberg in a triple threat match, and he won. Dice roll came up, I think, a 20 for him. So there's your first champion there. This guy just jumped from the WWF roster, and I talked about that because he vacated the European title, because I decided to build my very own WrestleMania 23 Shawn Michaels. Now, obviously, lower half of the Elite, Amazon Shawn Michaels. I had an Amazon Shawn Michaels after I got my Royal Rumble 97 look. I just kind of put that one into a box to either sell, but I never listed it. And then I was sitting there going, I don't really need this other one. Maybe I can do this. And I had a spare version of this. Because I have one on my wall. Shawn Michaels, I'm a big Shawn Michaels fan. It's my first wrestler I really, even though I'm bigger than him physically and height-wise, when I was 10, I thought this guy was great. And he still is, he's still a great wrestler. I'm not sitting there saying anything like that. I mean, there's been stories that come out that he's had some issues in the past, but that he's turned his life around, and that's what everybody does in life, right? You can learn from mistakes or you can continue to repeat them. Simple as is, switch the torso, attach it to the lower half of the Elite. You've got an WrestleMania 23 main event Shawn Michaels attire. Clean attire. Part of me thought about building the WrestleMania 26 look instead, and then I was like, nah, I want this one. This one was really cool. I remember when the 2-pack with John Cena, I remember thinking he was going to win the belt. They were going to give him the belt one more time. So to my surprise, when Cena won, I was a little annoyed. But great figure. It's going to look great in the Federation, and he's going to probably be challenging Jericho here, hopefully before too long. Now, this next guy, you can't make in his current status unless you know how to put on, decal tattoos all over his body. So, at first, I was thinking to myself, well, I've got one of the three, I should say. It's going to be hard to make the third guy no matter what. They're going to have to actually make an ultimate of him if it's going to happen, because there's no body type built for you to make him. But what I was able to do was take a Mr. T torso, switch the arms, and use lower legs, and build a back tattoo, arm tattoo Kofi Kingston. Back when he was, Jamaica, before the New Day stuff, he was in the middleweight, category, mid-card, if you will, winning the U.S. title, Intercontinental title. Great figure, great aesthetic to it. I mean, it just looks nice. I even, you use the head that came with them. You can see that there's the arm tattoo, so he had at least one arm tattoo I was able to do. He didn't have shoulder tats or any back tat yet, so I was able to make one pre that. So if they do release an Ultimate New Day set, instantly he's going up to be sold, and I'll get those ones. Not that I'm sitting there saying I'm not proud of my custom, but I'm just saying he works for the time. Works for the time frame. He works with what I can make. So then I decided, since I had more Mr. T torsos, I always check to see if there's any shoulder tats. If it's on their upper arm, like in this area, I can work with that. If it's on the shoulder, unless I get my customizer to paint that, or willing to paint that, if it's not super decaled, like for instance, I'm building an Austin Aries, and he's willing to, paint the little missing part that's going to be off the bicep, which is fine, because that tattoo is pretty generic, pretty simple to do. So he'll touch up on that. But I want to build more cruiserweights, and this guy got shafted when it came to getting an updated version. I mean, he's still with the company, so maybe, but he's not part of the Hurt business anymore. So Cedric Alexander Ultimate. You can see his tattoos are there. They just are outside of the bicep, or out of the shoulder, which works really well. Smooth, no wobbliness to it. So it works so well with Cedric, I thought, why not try with this guy? This guy has no tattoos. Now, yes, he's missing chest hair. Originally, I did have the arms from Mr. T on here, and then I realized they're way too bulky. I mean, like Cedric, I just switched them to, because they are cruiserweights after all. You can build your torso, you can build your arms only to a certain extent. So when I did swap them over, and I built Rich Swann. So many Mr. T's have lost their torso to build other people, just like Austin, and a few Ric Flairs. Now, this next one I remember posting, just him by himself, because only he was done at the time. I didn't have his tag team partner yet built. So people were like, who is that? Who's Tortilla Wrestling Warrior guy? Because I had taken a picture with a pack of tortilla chips in the background, and they thought that it was like some sort of sponsorship deal or something. Now, the heads are from Mattel, so they made them this light, this white colored. I know that these guys are not. They are the Singh brothers, and they are a hodgepodge attire. but I did try to do the best I could because I know one wrestled in trunks, one wrestled in tights. I added the Ultimate Warrior. I actually removed the Warrior decal. You can see a little bit of remnants of the paint down there because there's little crevices I couldn't, the Q-tip would not get into. The head sculpts, though, are generic. They're just from that battle pack. They really, lighten these guys up. So the Austin torso worked really well with them. Taking apart some Ultimate Warrior parts I built the Singh brothers. So, yeah, if I decide to put decals on them or send them away to have decals put onto them, I'm not too worried about it. They didn't last super long. More or less, they are the jobber tag team of the Fed. But who knows? Maybe they'll win titles, and I'll have to start putting more care into them. Now, this last two, let's start with this one first. This one, his tattoo was just on the bicep, not the shoulder. So when I saw that, I thought Mr. T torso instantly. Head sculpt matches. I did switch the arms because he has a tattoo, so it's not the Mr. T, and he didn't have wrist tape anyway. I'm talking about none other than Titus O'Neil. Now I wish the attire had been like Primetime Players. It would have been nice because I could have built that one, but this one worked for now. Now, if it had been Primetime Players, I could have easily done this, but this one probably was my most creative as far as taking a basic figure and turning him into all the way to an ultimate. Forget Elite. He skipped over Elite. I'm talking about Darren Young. I had to keep the arms because of tattoo. I even used the lower kick pad boots from his basic figure, so which is okay. It worked great. I used obviously the knee pads from that figure, and to match Titus, I actually bought a second Titus and took the torso off, and then even they were on ball joints, switched the legs. This is all that Target exclusive rock portion, and then put the head on there. Sadly, while he was drying, the glue did leak a little bit, causing him not to be able to swivel. But to go from a basic to an ultimate, I think I did a really good job. Basically using a couple different parts, different people's ideas. Using different parts for the ideas, like using the basic parts of knee pads, boots, and head and arms, and then the rock torso just worked wonders. That light skin rock torso, and then even going this extra mile and putting the Titus to kind of make it to where you have basically Primetime Players, just in a different look. So, and they're more now Titus Worldwide, I guess, because Titus brought him back to go for the tag titles again. And that is it for all the WWE roster right now. There's no tag champions because during the first review I didn't have Darren, so Titus and Dolph Ziggler actually competed for the belts. They went to a draw, so they're still unavailable yet. And I have not crowned a 24/7 champion yet because I didn't have the pay-per-view card for it yet. I will do that, though, eventually with this new roster. I did do some shuffling. As far as who to build in the future, I was looking at obviously adding a couple more cruiserweights like the Brian Kendrick, Kira Tozawa, Hideo Itami, because there is a cruiserweight division in this brand. So I do want to build more cruiserweights, possibly TJ Perkins, Tyson Kidd, and David Hart Smith. Maybe even Damian Sandow. So lots of people come to mind on this one. Of course, the Basham brothers will be coming to this brand to be JBL's security. Orlando Jordan is being made by somebody right now for me. He's going to this brand as well. So JBL's cabinet will be on this brand. Try to get at least one faction per each brand to kind of give it that four horsemen feel. But that's it for this video. Check back soon, or click on one of the links and see what my ECW roster looks like. A lot of customs in there. Till next time.